now going to call upon His Excellency Ambassador Misganu Arega, State Minister of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Thank you.
Happy UN Day to all. Your Excellency, Mr. Antonio Pedro, the Acting Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, Your Excellency, Dr. Monique, Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Excellencies, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to be with you at the United Nations Day commemoration here in Addis Ababa, the third largest diplomatic hub in the world. I thank UNECA for inviting me as well as for organizing this great event. On October 24, 1945, 51 countries, including Ethiopia, signed the Charter of the United Nations. Commemorating such an important milestone reminds us how the principles of the UN Charter remain relevant in our collective endeavor to create a fair and better world for all. On this anniversary, we come together to celebrate, highlight, and reflect on the work of the UN in fulfilling the vision of the Charter. That's why Ethiopia calls upon the international community to recommit to the letter and the spirit of the UN Charter, which embodies the aspiration of peoples for peaceful, prosperous, and safe world. Ethiopia, as a founding signatory of the UN Charter, has been a proud and profound voice of a multilateral diplomacy in the UN system. Today, I reaffirm that Ethiopia will always be an ardent proponent of the principles of the UN Charter. Excellencies, as we celebrate the UN Day here in the United Nations Conference Center, Ethiopia and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa share more than 6 decades of fruitful history of cooperation and gracious hospitality. In 1958, Ethiopia was chosen as the headquarters of UNECA, which was established as one of the 5 continental UN Regional Economic Commission. This historic decision has become an important component of the institutional landscape of Africa in promoting economic and social development in the continent. In addition, hosting one of the largest UN country teams in the world with the presence of more than 28 UN agencies demonstrates the historical and multifaceted partnership that exists between Ethiopia and UN system. This also makes Addis Ababa one of the most vibrant, dynamic cities of diplomacy in the world. The UN is an indispensable partner for Ethiopia, providing support to our national endeavor of promoting peace and development. The UN has been with us in the ups and downs of this great nation. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the government is working diligently to implement its 10-year development plan, which integrates the Sustainable Development Agenda. In this regard, let me take this opportunity to call on the UN system to further consolidate its support to the realization of our national vision of holistic prosperity. Excellencies, on this occasion, it is also important to reflect how the UN, created more than 78 years ago, could also be fit to address the current challenge we all face. The existing multilateral system is grappling with the greatest systemic crisis since 1945. For the United Nations to be a reflection of the current world, the question of reform is not a matter of rhetoric. The various UN decision-making process should amplify the voices and respect the legitimate interests of Africa and other developing countries. Ethiopia, as a founding member of the UN, reiterates its call for meaningful and urgent reform of the current global architecture. At a time of global rivalry, Ethiopia underscores the importance of a renewed and inclusive multilateralism that effectively address shared global challenges. The current system is unable to address the poly-crisis and fragmentation the world confronts. Hence, we call for a new, inclusive, and balanced multilateral system that is effective and efficient to promote genuine global cooperation and solutions. The political, economic, and financial and security architecture of the United Nations system should be reformed to respond to the fundamental challenge and problem that humanity faces. In a rapidly changing world, deepening the AU-UN strategic partnership remains imperative to realize the Africa we want and deserve. In our collective journey to build an integrated, peaceful, green, inclusive, and resilient Africa, accelerating the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal and Agenda 2063 is indispensable. In this regard, I would like to reassure you that Ethiopia will continue to play a key role in advancing the unique partnership between the UN and Africa. Finally, allow me, Excellency, to thank Mr. Antonio Pedro, the Acting Executive Secretary, for your dedication and for your service and leadership and commitment. I would also like to wish the newly appointed Executive Secretary, Mr. Carver Gatete, every success in his new role. Ethiopia looks forward to closely working with him and further strengthening our cooperation with the UNECA. As a host, Ethiopia remains committed to supporting the modernization and expansion of our regional economic organization. I thank you. Happy UN Day again.